Hello. Today I will be presenting an analysis of Kamala Harris's leadership. In this presentation, I will evaluate her leadership skills by examining her personality, leadership style, strengths and weaknesses, approach to conflict and diversity, ethical perspective, and overall effectiveness. I will also apply leadership theories to this research, including trait theory, behavioral theory, contingency theory, transformational leadership, and servant leadership. Introduction and rationale. Harris is the 49th Vice President of the United States, and she is the first woman, as well as the first person of both Black and South Asian descent to hold this office. I chose Harris because her career demonstrates the interaction of identity, ambition, and leadership in a complex political environment. Harris has broken multiple historic barriers, and her career provides clear examples of navigating high-pressure roles while influencing policy and public perception. Leadership can be defined as influence, the ability to guide, motivate, and inspire others to achieve a goal, and Harris consistently uses influence rather than authority. For example, in the Senate, she built conditions across party lines to support criminal justice reform and voting rights legislation. Her leadership also depends heavily on the leader-follower relationship, especially among diverse populations. Harris shares her morals and ideas through speeches, such as advocating for women's economic empowerment and motivating social change through legislative advocacy and public engagement. This relational approach highlights how leaders can achieve impact through connection and trust rather than just relying solely on positional power. Background and career path. Harris was born in Oakland, California, to immigrant parents from India and Jamaica. She earned her law degree at UC Hastings and began her career in legal practice. Harris was elected San Francisco District Attorney, later became California Attorney General, and then U.S. Senator, and ultimately the 49th Vice President of the United States. This career path demonstrates her persistence and ability to navigate complex political systems. According to trait theory, certain stable personal characteristics, such as ambition, motivation, and resilience, predict leadership effectiveness. Harris's early work as district attorney included implementing reforms in bail and criminal justice policies while managing a large staff, showing technical competence and decision-making skills that are foundational to managerial leadership. Her achievements demonstrate how traits interact with opportunity to shape leadership outcomes. Personality and traits. Trait theory emphasizes that leaders possess consistent personality characteristics that influence their behavior and effectiveness. Harris demonstrates high extroversion, allowing her to confidently engage in public debates and interviews, such as during the Senate committee hearings for Supreme Court nominations. She also exhibits high agreeableness, which helps her maintain relationships and build coalitions, and high emotional stability, allowing her to stay composed under scrutiny. Conscientiousness is evident in her thorough preparation for public appearances, such as detailed policy briefings and openness to experience, and reflected in her support for progressive policies and diverse viewpoints. The MIDC profile identifies her as outgoing, dominant, ambitious, and cooperative, balancing assertiveness with collaboration. An example of this is her leadership on the COVID-19 task force, where she coordinated multiple agencies while maintaining public trust and composure. Leadership style. Harris demonstrates a blend of leadership approaches based on context and settings. She often demonstrates a participative, democratic style, consulting colleagues and stakeholders in policymaking. For instance, when advocating for voting rights legislation, she held community meetings to incorporate input from diverse voter populations. Contingency theory argues that the effectiveness of a leadership style depends on situational factors, such as task complexity or follow readiness. Harris adjusts her style depending on the audience, being directive in Senate hearings and supportive in town halls. She also exhibits transformational leadership, inspiring followers with a vision of equity, as seen in speeches promoting civil rights and servant leadership, prioritizing the needs of historically marginalized communities. Conflict management and diversity. Harris uses collaboration and bipartisan negotiations, such as mediating between party lines for criminal justice reform and competing in high-stakes debates like her questioning of federal nominees. She rarely avoids conflict with issues involve justice or equity. Diversity leadership involves valuing and promoting inclusion, which Harris demonstrates by elevating marginalized voices and advocating for equitable policies. Her public speeches often highlight women, minorities, and economically disadvantaged groups, showing her commitment to inclusive leadership. These practices align with relational leadership principles, emphasizing the importance of building strong, trust-based relationships with diverse followers. Ethical perspective. Harris demonstrates ethical leadership by prioritizing justice, equity, and transparency. Servant leadership, where leaders prioritize the needs of others, is reflected in her policies, such as advocating for civil rights and supporting women and minority entrepreneurs. For example, Harris worked to expand access to healthcare and education for vulnerable communities, illustrating stewardship by ensuring decisions benefits the broader society. Her public communication emphasizes accountability, reflecting both ethical and transformational leadership principles. Strengths and weaknesses. Harris's strengths include strong technical expertise in law and policy, coalition building and interpersonal influence, resilience under scrutiny, and adaptability across different leadership contexts, aligning with the contingency theory. Her ethical and inclusive approach demonstrates servant leadership in practice. For instance, she led COVID-19 response coordination, balancing policy expertise with stakeholder engagement. Her weaknesses include operational limitations due to political polarization, occasional over-calibration in messaging, and public perception challenges shaped by media framing, particularly regarding her race and gender. Despite these hardships, her strategic adaptability and relational skills allow her to navigate challenges effectively. Leadership effectiveness. Leadership effectiveness includes symbolic and operational impact. Harris is highly effective symbolically. She represents historic milestones for women and people of color. She demonstrates strong relational influence consistent with the leader-member exchange theory, by creating high-quality relationships with supporters, activists, and senators, while maintaining professional distance with out-group members. Her operational effectiveness, though sometimes constrained by political polarization, includes successful advocacy for voting rights and criminal justice reforms. Harris' effectiveness reflects the alignment of personal traits, observable behaviors, and situational strategies, showing her as a multi-dimensional leader who combines influence, relational skills, and vision to achieve meaningful outcomes. Key takeaways about leadership. The key takeaway from studying Kamala Harris is the effective leadership is multidimensional. It integrates personal traits, observable behaviors, ethical values, relational influence, and adaptability to context. Harris demonstrates that identity-informed leadership, ethical decision-making, and strategic flexibility allows leaders to inspire others, navigate complex challenges, and create meaningful impact. Her career shows that leadership is not just about authority, but also about building trust, advocating for justice, and responding to the diverse needs of stakeholders. Thank you.